Welcome back to Smile Jamaica. So for the period January to June 2021, 5,564 child abuse reports were received. To better help distressed children, the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, the CPFSA, is making it easier to dial for help. The Honorable Robert Morgan, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, will give us the update on the new helpline. Morning, Minister. Welcome to Smile Jamaica.
Hi, morning, Delia. Morning, Simone.
Hi, Robert. Or should I say minister? I'm so sorry. Um, we're
Well, we were
finally,
colleagues so many years, so I mean, it's first name only.
remember the days of the newsroom, right?
Right,
Earlier?
right,
So,
right.
it's just like a paradigm shift in our brains that has to happen. So, congrats on this. I know it's been in the works for a little while. A 3-digit child abuse hotline. Why was this important? I didn't even realize this was a benchmarking best practices issue.
So the biggest challenge that we had was we were not getting as many self-reports as we want from children. Also, many persons complained that the 888 Protect number was hard to remember, to convert it from words to numbers, and it was not 24 hours. So when I became minister, I consulted with my senior minister and worked with the CPFSA and the OUR to see how we can simplify the process so we can get an easier number that is toll-free, that is 24 hours, 7 days a week, so that we could improve reporting, so that we could make it easier for persons who wanted to report child abuse, that they could do it free of cost. And that's how we came up with 211.
All right. So what the thinking is, it's easier for the children to remember the 3 digits, but let's talk about, I want to say, the front end when they call. What happens there? Because I think you also want to make it easier for them to report and easier for them to get the matters addressed, Minister. So what
So
happens there?
we have an army of social workers. Many of them were a part of the system before. We had to recruit some more, and they are trained to handle issues of child abuse, issues of child neglect, or general issues that persons may call about children. So when you call 211, someone answers 24 hours a day. Sometimes it's on the first ring. I've tested it myself. And they will now decide, where does this call go? Does it go to a report to the CISOCA, or does it go to another agency like the Ministry of Health Suicide Prevention Helpline, or does it go to the general CPFSA for some intervention? Not all calls to the hotline are about child abuse. A lot of it are parents seeking guidance and support and help. And there are numerous other numbers. So the long-term plan is for this number to be a kind of clearinghouse of issues related to children. The Office of the Children's Advocate also has a helpline where they give counseling to kids. So we're trying to interconnect all these numbers, but give children and families and members of the society one number, free number, 24 hours a day, that they can use to call to get help for children.
Yeah, that was my next question actually, because I know the OCA just launched Safe Spot.
Yes.
So I was going to ask, I know we can't ever have too many areas of help or channels of help for our kids, but if you put too many numbers out there, then you might start to confuse folks. So it's good that we're planning to streamline. Let's look at some of the stats, Minister. 1,200 reports of child abuse monthly in all forms. From January to June, over 5,500 child abuse reports received. Neglect, behavioral problems, physical and sexual abuse, ranking among the highest. Kingston and St. Andrew, St. Catherine, St. Anne, St. James, and Manchester hotspot areas. What else are we doing to tackle the core issues? So the helplines are very important, but they have to be a part of an overall strategy and a bunch of other things we're throwing at this. What are some of the other mechanisms in place to tackle child abuse in all its forms?
I'm very happy you asked that question. So we've been doing a lot of work at the Ministry of Education. One of the first things that we're doing is we're having a stronger relationship with the police. So you would realize over the last couple of months, you have heard about some very high-profile arrests made of persons who have been abusing children. A lot of them are before the courts. You'd have heard probably 2 weeks ago that 3 persons from a child care facility were also arrested for child abuse. So we're spending a lot of time working with the police, and we've spent a lot of time educating the public on the importance of child abuse. Other than that, we're trying to fix the laws. We have the Child Care and Protection Act that we've just finished reviewing, and we're going to submit that to the Attorney General so we can get that to the Parliament. We're trying to fix the Adoption Act, which has not been fixed since about 1950s, to make it easier for persons who want to adopt or persons who think that they may want to give their child up for adoption. We're also fixing the whole legal situation where a parent can take a child to court and say the child is quote unquote uncontrollable, and a judge has the discretion to send that child to a penal institution without charge. We're planning to repeal Section 24. We are very far down the wicket on that. Cabinet has given us strict instructions that we need to move quickly on it. But generally, what we're also trying to do is to intervene where it matters, which is in the community and the family. So the ministry is about to embark on a very long-term good parenting campaign, similar to the one that we had in the 80s called Two is Better Than Too Many, where we're going to run it not just for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, but a long-term campaign to intervene in the families, not just to deal with punitive measures such as arresting families and taking away children, but trying to intervene before the issues happen. Many of the issues I've always said to people, children run away for two reasons. Either they're running away from something or running towards something. And there have been incidents where a child is uncomfortable at a home because somebody is there that they're not comfortable with, and they leave. And a lot of persons do not understand that it's not bad children, it's bad circumstances, because children are socialized by us. So we have to find out what it is that is causing these children to behave this way. And we believe that intervening in the community, in the family, by building a better CPFSA that is more equipped, more focused, has more social workers, can be a big gain in the fight against child abuse and helping families to raise better children.
Yeah. It's one thing, Minister, to sensitize the children to the 211, but also how do we get them at a place that they feel comfortable to make that call? We live in a society where, the children hear people talking about the informal culture. I think we're kind of growing out of it, but it's still there. And children should be seen and not heard. What are the campaigns that will get children to feel comfortable to speak up and speak out about abuse?
So we have started a very large public education campaign. One of the things that we're going to be doing is we're going to be putting the posters into the bathrooms of all our schools. We're working with some of our corporate partners. So for example, that children tend to patronize fast food outlets. We're trying to work with some of our fast food outlets. So for example, a patty company might have the 211 sticker on the patty bag. And several other initiatives we're doing. We're going to be sending street teams into communities and into schools to educate children on the importance if something happens to you. Please report it. And why that is important is Corona has really changed the dynamics of this child's interaction with the school. So many of the reports that we used to get used to be a child going to the guidance counselor. That is not happening anymore. So we have to find a way to reach those children. And the most important thing about it is that children are going to be taught that it is confidential. Nobody will know that you make the call. If you're calling about your friend that is still looking strange, something happened to her or him, nobody's going to know. It is free. It is very easy to do. And we can guarantee that where we find evidence, you will be protected and there will be action. For example, there was a viral video the other day where somebody released it online with 2 adults and a child. The child was witnessing the engagement of a very intimate situation, and we quickly acted upon it. The child has been rescued from the situation, and the parents and the adults in there are now facing the consequences. And that is the approach that we're taking. Whenever we see something, the best test of the effectiveness of protecting children is literally protecting them. And if children see things happening, because they watch TV, they listen to radio, they're on YouTube, they're on social media, and if they see that other children are getting help, then they're going to build confidence that they can get help as well. And we just have to provide an easy way for them to access that help.
I think that's the part that's important, is closing the loop. So it's one thing for them to know the number, one thing for them to call, one thing for the call to go wherever it needs to go, but another thing for it to be followed up and resolved, which is where we tend to have a problem. So on that end, I know you have, you say you have an army of social workers fielding the calls. As far as resolution, how you stay with resources on that end to make sure that we can close the loop when the report is made?
So one of the good things that we have found is that we have a very committed set of persons working in childcare ecosystem here. Of course, you have some who are wayward, that's a fact, but we have very good relationship with Sosoka and other agencies within the government, as well as community members. So when somebody makes a call, and it immediately triggers an action, as the persons are trained to do that. And whether it is 2 a.m. in the morning, I remember there was an incident where some children were left unattended in St. Andrew, and I got the call from someone at about 11, and Miss Gage Gray got the call as well, and she actually went up into the rural community late in the night to intervene in the situation. And that's the approach that we take, where it's a whole of us approach. All of us within the ecosystem, are, including persons who are not even employed to the government, are activated in the system. Yes, we do need more social workers. Yes, we do need more resources. But I believe that we are trying our very best, and we're having a lot of success where we find out that incidents are happening. And that's important. We need to find out that the incidents are happening, because the biggest part of the challenge is that we know that the reports that we're getting, the 1,000 that you spoke about, the 5,000 over a couple months, that's just a tip of the iceberg. A lot of the times you are on social media and you see these viral videos come out that we never got a call about. We have to now track down using the help of the police to find out where these are. So we know that child abuse in Jamaica is an epidemic, which is why we're putting things in place, and we're reforming the CPFSA. We're trying to get them many more social workers in order for them to be more effective in finding these children and being proactive in intervening in the families' lives.
All right, Minister, we've got to go. 211 is a number. We say 311, pass it on, but we want you to pass on 211 as well, because it's really, really very important. Thank you, Minister, for the
Thank you
information
very much,
this
Delia.
morning.
Thank you very much, Simone. Really appreciate it. And thanks to your viewers as well for watching.
Sure, no problem. All right, Honorable Robert Morgan, Minister of State in the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information.
Yeah, more and smile after the break.